Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome U.S. Marine Corps veteran Matt Marcinell to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hey, everybody. Thanks. You ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks.
Please welcome Pastor Ricky Phillips for tonight's invocation.
To start off, how many people think that we should thank God and to thank God that Dave McCormick and President Trump are still with us? And we also think of the victims, right? And we think of the Tree of Life Synagogue that we remember, 6 years ago, where 11 people lost their life. And let's just have a few moments of silence. Let us pray. Creator God, we give you great thanks for all the wonderful gifts and the diversity of gifts that are gathered here today. And we just pray that you may empower all these gifts so that we may love where love seems impossible, to be kind where kindness seems impossible, to have hope where hope seems impossible, and to forgive where forgiveness seems impossible. We pray that you will be with all the voters here as they discern these complex issues. The victims of the border, all those who are dealing with inflation, and all the many wars that we're involved in at this time, and many, many other issues. Well, we give you great thanks that you have raised up leaders like Dave McCormick and Nikki Haley, and we pray that you will be with all the public servants. Truly, you have been with them and you have prepared them for this time to deal with these issues. All their life, you have prepared them. Be with everybody who is running this election cycle. And we pray that your will may be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pennsylvania State Senator Camera Bartolotta.
Hello, hello, hello. I think you can do better than that. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our servers, everybody here at Jurgles, and our servers having to dodge and weave and all of that through the gauntlet. They're doing a great job. Thank you, thank you. And our bartenders and everybody else, great job. You know what? You can tell the enthusiasm gap is absolutely enormous, right? Between our Trump voters, our McCormick voters, everybody who's got the red on, everybody who's Republican. We are excited. We are energized, aren't we? We are happy about this. We've got 5 days and we can't wait. We can't wait 5 days to literally take back America. Take back America. That is our job. That is our duty. And you know what? We're preaching to the choir here. Every single one of you, you know why you're here. You know who you're supporting. You're excited about it. You want to meet these people. You want to see these folks, cheer them on. But you know what? You have a job to do. You have a job to do. 5 more days to make the biggest difference in the coming future for our kids, our grandkids. 5 more days. What do you need to do? There we go. Yes, the angels have spoken. Thank you very much. Get others to vote. Get others to vote. And you know what? I know a heck of a lot of Democrats who are not going to be voting for Bob Casey. A whole lot of Democrats that will not vote for him. Why? Because Dave McCormick has done more in the last 6 months than Bob Casey has done in 30 years. Exactly. We need to put people in office who do something, who are motivated, who have strength, who have values, who have a plan. We don't need, Mr. Groundhog, Casey, who comes out every 6 years and asks for your vote. He asks for your vote. Please vote for me. We don't need that. We need someone who is strong, who is disciplined, who has proven that he has served this country with every ounce of his being. We need to put Dave McCormick in the United States Senate, and we are going to do it on Tuesday. I'll go back to the number 5. We have 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. Every single one of you in this room, within the sound of my voice, every single day for 5 days, you are going to call 2 people. 2 people, 2 people. You know 2 people a day, right? That'll give you 10 people in 5 days. Call your Democrat friends. No. Call your Democrat friends and say, hey, are you going to vote? Skip past the top if you have to. I've talked to so many Democrats, and as hard as I've tried, as much as I've talked till I'm blue in the face, some are just not going to go Trump. But I'll say, hold on a second. How do you like Bob Casey? Oh my God, I can't vote for him. Really? Then you're going to go and you're going to vote for Dave McCormick. You're going to vote for Dave McCormick. Call all of your friends. Don't leave the Democrats out, because they want someone who's going to do something. They want their vote to count. We want our votes to count. They want their vote to count. Call 2 people a day for the next 5 days, right? If you got more, get more. Get them to the polls. How many people here voted early? How many people here? That's awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's fantastic. That's great. You know what that means? We don't have to waste time and resources chasing your vote. Excellent. That's beautiful. Let's pray that they still have paper. That was a problem last year. And hope that the machine doesn't go down. Any of that nonsense, right? Everybody's got the number of your elections office if there's any problems whatsoever, right? Keep that handy on speed dial, all right? Get to the polls super early. Get your vote out and done first thing on Tuesday morning if you're going to vote in person. If you voted early, fill up that gas tank. Call your friends. Do you need a ride to the polls? I got donuts. That's what you got to do. I'm asking all of you to do that. Please, please. We have to do this. This is a neck and neck race. This is a photo finish. And you can put Dave McCormick over the finish line. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you. Hey. Okay, guys. Oh, it healed.
Please welcome State Representative Stephanie Scialabba.
This is a big, beautiful crowd. Thank you for having me here. I am Stephanie Scialabba. I represent straight up 19 Cranberry Township and surrounding areas in Butler County. And we are proud. We are proud to be Butler County. We're proud to be the 12th district. And, I think come Tuesday, we're going to be proud to have a good senator again in Pennsylvania. I am an attorney by trade. I'm a mother to a beautiful little boy whose birthday is Friday. His name's Teddy. Love of my life, along with the man in the back. But I ran for office, left my firm when I lost my mother at a young age of 66. She was an attorney too. She passed away 2 days before Christmas, going on 3 years now. I had a shaking to my absolute core when I thought, what if that was me? What if I only have 2 years left? What if I have 2 decades? Whatever it is, who's going to take care of my kid? And I knew my husband would. He's wonderful. And I knew my dad and my in-laws, right? We have a village. And it takes a village. But the problem is that our government is trying to become that village. We need to keep our kids safe. We need to give them an upbringing like what we all had. Now, our parents and our grandparents and even us, we were lucky. We grew up at the feet of the greatest generation, so we knew what we had to lose. The kids today, they don't know. And what's more scary is some of their parents don't know. So I had a big wake-up call, and I try to look on the bright side of things when it's reasonable. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do in this moment? My mother was my best friend. Now what? And I decided I'm going to do something to make sure that my kid has a much better future than the track that we're on right now. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I've learned. I'm coming up on my end of my first term. I'm up for re-election, and hopefully Tuesday will be smooth sailing for all of us from the top all the way down to the bottom. But I've learned a lot. I've seen the dirty tactics. I've seen firsthand the cheating, the lies, the games, the manipulation, the misinformation, as much as I hate that term. But what I have learned too is that people change, right? How many times have we seen Kamala Harris shift on her position, right? How many times have we even seen our actual president, Joe Biden? I shouldn't even ask, that's rhetorical. He's at the beach, that's right. But I will tell you one person that hasn't changed. And it's surprising in politics because you don't find someone like this often. I met Dave years ago. I met him years ago. He deserves a round of applause because he's never changed. That man has never changed. So not only do we get the accomplished businessman, not only do we get the family man who adores his wife, Dina, who deserves the adoration, but also his family, who knows how to raise a family, how to lead an economy to do what America should be. We should be the global leader. There's no excuse. We're tired of excuses. But more than that, not only can you trust him, you can be excited. Because I was with him on a more personal note on July 13th, when they tried to kill our president. I was there in the front row with our Congressman Mike Kelly, with Dave McCormick, and with Dan Muser, another congressman. We're right there in the front. President Trump had just introduced Dave, standing right here to my right. The next thing you know, you hear the shots. I knew right away what they were. Some people thought they were firecrackers. No, it wasn't. And we all know that now. We immediately went down for cover. Do you know who didn't? You know who else didn't? Dave. Dave looks around, making sure that I'm safe, that Mrs. Fogel, who our president and our senator refused to help her son get out of Russia, he makes sure Mrs. Fogel's okay. He makes sure Mike's okay. He makes sure every single person but himself is okay. You don't find people like that very often, let alone in politics. So I want to tell you that not only has he spoken to the independents, to the moderates, to the Democrats, even to anybody with a heart and a brain, not only has he taught us that you can be kind and genuine but strong, that you can be circumspect and have conviction, that man has displayed as much leadership and more leadership than a lot of people have that we will encounter in our lives. And a hell of a lot more than Bob Casey. So with that, I want to tell you why I don't just trust Dave McCormick with my life when he put himself over me and said, I got you. But I know he has Pennsylvania. I know he has you and you and you and you and you and all of your family who couldn't be here tonight and all of your friends. And he's also going to have everybody else who inhabits this state because that's the kind of man he is. So I'm excited that we're going to go into Tuesday with momentum that can't be stopped. I'm excited because there's no one else I would have rather have with me on July 13th when we were physically under attack. There's no one else I would rather have leading our nation when we're under attack from the outside and the inside than Dave McCormick. So President Joe Biden, all due respect, you want to talk about garbage? We're taking out the garbage. We're taking out Bob Casey, and we're sending Dave McCormick to the Senate.
Please welcome State Senator Devlin Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, come on, get that disappointed look off your face. I mean, I saw, It's a tough act to follow. You've got Camera Bartolotta and then Stephanie Scialabba and then Devlin. I know. Dave and Nikki Haley are coming soon. Don't worry. But I mean, looking out at this crowd tonight, it's amazing. When I pulled into the parking lot, I was a little late because I was knocking doors all day. But I'm amazed at the crowd. I'm amazed to see the support. Who here has ever seen a concert here? Yeah. Right. I saw Charlie Daniels here. I think it was just about 2 weeks before he passed away. And he killed it right here on this stage. So this is about the size of the crowd that Charlie Daniels drew. So I'm amazed and I'm so proud to see everybody come out and to see the enthusiasm here. That's right. Charlie Daniels was. I fell in love with Charlie Daniels whenever I was going over to Iraq 20 some years ago. And Charlie Daniels was out there fighting back with all those anti-war protesters. So Charlie Daniels has a very special place in my heart. And you know, just about a week or two before he passed away, he was up here killing it, breaking bowstrings on the stage. I mean, it was just like listening to the record. He was amazing. And we all know who he'd be voting for if he was alive next week, right? But how many people here are from Pennsylvania? Let me start with this. Yeah, everybody, right? That's right. I just talked, when I was out knocking doors, the Democratic Party is bringing people in from out of state. Out of state. Do you know that there's going to be over $1 billion spent in the state of Pennsylvania this year? $1 billion. Now that's right. That's as much as Obama and McCain spent in 2008 nationally. And that's just being spent in Pennsylvania this year. We're the only swing state in the nation. And Dave McCormick's race is going to be the most expensive Senate seat in history. That's how important Pennsylvania is. Where we have all of our local people, everybody in Pennsylvania coming out to support our local candidates. Where we look at the finance reports, my opponent is getting donations from guess who? Well, yeah, of course, George Soros. Yeah, I know. A little bit more fun than that. Felicity Huffman, right? The face of the college admission scandal. So this was not the first time that she sent her checkbook in places it shouldn't be going, right? But that's what we're up against. It's us versus a leftist ideology. An ideology that wants to eliminate our homegrown energy sector. Yeah. Now, I gotta wonder whose side you're on when you're against utilizing Pennsylvania local workers to source Pennsylvania local energy and sell it on the market. We saw what happened after the Keystone Pipeline was shut down and the embarrassing withdrawal from Afghanistan. We saw what happened. Putin took a look at that. It's basic supply and demand principles. You didn't have all that energy in the energy sector to lower the prices. He was able to afford that war to invade Ukraine. He was able, because of the energy sector being shut down here in the United States, here in Pennsylvania. These problems are complex, and we need somebody with Dave McCormick's background to be a voice in Washington, D.C. We need somebody like that. Educated, business, and veteran. And that's something that we have on our side. How many veterans do I have in a room right now? Oh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And that's what we're up against. That political ideology, the resumes of all of our opponents are activists. Do you know what Nancy Pelosi said to AOC whenever she came into Washington, D.C.? She said, I started as an activist too. I was an organizer. That's their resume builder, where we have veterans and business people coming out there to continue to serve our country. This is what we're up against. Remember that. A vote for Dave McCormick is a vote for limited government, homegrown energy, and a love of country. Remember that. So make sure, Tuesday, from now until Tuesday, we have all of our campaign signs outside. Make sure you take them. I don't care what district you're in, make sure you come out and you show support. Make sure we show them that we mean business, that we're going to come out there and we're going to make sure that our candidates, that American candidates that care about this country are going to be on the ballot and are going to win at the ballot. So make sure, have a plan to vote, get your kids, get your parents, get your neighbors, and get them out to the polls. So now, in a couple minutes, Nikki and Dave McCormick are going to be coming. So they're going to play some music. I didn't pick the song, so don't get mad at me. But thank you for coming out, and I'll see everybody in a few.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the Republican Committee of Allegheny County, Sam DeMarco.
Hey, how we doing tonight? 6 more days. 6 more days and we're going to get this thing over with. We are going to elect Donald Trump, the next president of the United States. We are going to elect Dave McCormick, the next senator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Are you ready? Are you fired up? Are you excited? Well, I'm excited too because I get to introduce a good friend of mine tonight. We have Dave McCormick, who's a candidate for Senate here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a man who's incredibly accomplished, who's been successful at everything he's ever done in life, somebody who's going to provide much needed leadership in Washington. But I get to introduce his better half, a woman who's just as accomplished, and that's his wife, Dina Powell McCormick, the daughter of immigrants, immigrated here to the United States as a child, Coptic Christians when they came from Egypt. She got involved in politics at the University of Texas, Austin. She went to work in the George Bush administration, where she became the youngest director of presidential personnel in history. She then went to work at Goldman Sachs, where she rose to the highest levels of finance and became one of the most powerful women on Wall Street. And then she served President Trump in his administration as a deputy national security advisor and helped become a partial architect to the Abraham Accords, bringing peace to the Middle East. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my friend and Dave's better half, Dina Powell McCormick.
Wow. Wow. Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. That was such a lovely introduction. Thank you, Chairman DeMarco. Can we give him a round of applause? What a great chairman he is. It's such a nice introduction that I wish my 6 daughters, our 6 daughters, had heard it. I'm going to start with a really funny story because I forgot about it until Sam just was over the top and gave me way too much credit that I don't deserve. But you know how your children can humble you? Raise your hand if your children have humbled you. And so years and years ago, I had worked on this program that helped get capital for women entrepreneurs in the United States, many female small business owners in Pennsylvania and across the country. And I was getting this little award on behalf of the program. The other person getting the award was a name you'll know in a minute, Dina Menzel. Okay, she was the voice of Elsa in Frozen. That's all you need to know. Okay, those of you with daughters, how many times have you seen Frozen, the movie? Well, we have 6, so we'd seen it 1,000 times. I brought my 6-year-old Ava with me. Dina Menzel gets the award, and then I stand up, and my 6-year-old Ava says, "Why are you standing up?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting the next award, honey." And she's like, "What did you ever do as important as Elsa?" So I appreciated Sam's intro. I have one job tonight, which is to introduce an incredible woman. Someone who I had the privilege of serving with under President Trump. I'll just say that Ambassador Haley and I, our last event, and I'll back up as to why it's so important. The very last event she and I attended together was at the White House, on the lawn, when President Trump signed the Abraham Accords. The first treaties, the first peace deals with Israel and several countries in the Middle East in 50 years. In 50 years. And they wouldn't have happened had he not put the line in the sand that said, we can make peace, we can work towards it. So I'll tell you 3 things that we have in common really quickly. We're both either an immigrant or children of immigrants. I was born as a Coptic Christian in Cairo, Egypt. My parents immigrated so we could practice our faith freely. They used to say to me and my sisters, "You can be anything you want to be." We left our church, we left our family, anything you want to be, as long as you're a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer. Okay, I didn't make any of those 3, but I did get to work in the White House and truly live the American dream, and so did my husband. And so did Nikki. Nikki's parents said to her when she was complaining one day, "We'll do something about it." And she ran for governor of South Carolina and became the first woman governor of that state. The other thing we have in common is we have 2 great husbands. Michael Haley and Dave McCormick wore the uniform of the United States of America. Michael Haley and Dave McCormick served in combat for our country. And Michael Haley and Dave McCormick can put up with tough women. My husband is running for office because he really does love this country. He's served it for a long time. He would be so honored to have your vote. He would be so honored to have your support. He is somebody that our 6 daughters and I know, we test him regularly. And he's always there for you and he won't let you down. And one of the ways I know it is how much he admires women, how much he respects them, and how much he has admired Ambassador Nikki Haley. They used to call her Hurricane Haley in the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Nikki Haley.
We're so excited for all of you to be here. 6 more days. Get excited, 6 more days. You know why you should get excited? In 6 days, no more text messages, no more emails, no more commercials. You won't have all that mail in your mailbox. It will all be over in 6 days. But this is the thing. In 6 days, we find out our fate. So it's a really important 6 days. I look at what we're looking at now. Americans don't trust government.
There's no reason to trust government. Republicans and Democrats have let us down. $35 trillion in debt. They have lost the value of a dollar. They don't care about the fact that we pay taxes in, and we're stuck. And I look at the fact that, yes, $35 trillion in debt, but I look at what's happening in Pennsylvania. And this is the part that we can't overestimate. When I look at Bob Casey, he supported Kamala Harris in the two biggest inflation drivers that we've had. He supported the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a farce of a name. It was meant to only cost $300 billion. It has now cost us over $1 trillion. And 40% of the projects are stalled. Then you've got the American Rescue Plan. Do you feel rescued? Nope. And guess what? That was a slush fund for every state in the country for things that don't affect us, and it cost $2 trillion. Our kids know they're going to have to pay for that. Then they passed the CHIPS Act, saying, oh, we have to manufacture chips in America. Well, that sounds great, but you gave all this money to these companies and didn't even require these American companies to stop manufacturing in China. Where was the strategy in that? As of a few months ago, 70% of federal employees were still working remote. All these years after COVID. 75% of our federal offices are sitting empty. And we're paying for that. Now you tell me, what has Bob Casey done for you? Nothing, right? Bob Casey has been in this office for 18 years. 18 years. Now, y'all know, I have long said we need term limits in Washington, D.C. You look at the situation on the border, the illegal immigration system. Bob Casey opposed that border wall. Bob Casey opposed $800 million that would have helped detect fentanyl crossings. We all know people who have suffered from fentanyl. How do you not support that? You look at the energy situation. You want to drive inflation down? How do you do that? You become energy dominant. All of the above. Bob Casey voted against 6 different expansions of fracking. I think he forgot that he lives in Pennsylvania. That one, I really don't get that one. I really don't. So you look at these things, and it makes you wonder, why is he even there? It's time for a change. It's time for a change in Washington, D.C. And then I hear that Bob Casey is okay with supporting Kamala Harris, who said she's going to pack the Supreme Court and she's going to get rid of the filibuster. So then I say, why should we go to Pennsylvania? Because we have someone in Dave McCormick who has term limited himself and said he's only going to serve 2 terms. We have a business guy in Dave McCormick who understands the value of a dollar and supports a balanced budget amendment. We all have to balance a budget in our households. We all have to balance a budget in our businesses. Don't you think it's finally time Washington, D.C. learned how to balance a budget? I'm supporting Dave McCormick because he supports a border wall, because he understands that if we're going to go and deal with illegal immigration, we've got to go back to remaining in Mexico. We've got to stop the inflow. We've got to make sure 9 million people have crossed that border. 500,000 convicted criminals. You need a fighter. I support Dave McCormick because he supports fracking, but he supports energy dominance. I support Dave McCormick because he understands he is a combat veteran like my husband, and he knows what real sacrifice is in this country. I support Dave McCormick because he's a dad. Not a dad of one daughter, a dad of 6 daughters. You girl dads know what I'm talking about. But why am I here? Why am I here in Pennsylvania? Because I feel what you feel. I feel the anxiety that's out there. I feel the frustration that's out there. I feel the noise that's out there. And I know you're done. But you know what? This is what I'm going to ask you. I need you to pull the emotion out of it. I need us to focus on the policies. I need to focus on not us today. I need us to focus on our kids and the next generation of tomorrow. How do we get there? We start cleaning up DC one person at a time. Now, when it comes to Dave McCormick, he's a great candidate. But this is the other part of it. I know it's noisy out there. When I tell you to take the emotion out and focus on the policies, Dave McCormick can't win if we don't elect Donald Trump at the top of the ticket. You may find Trump noisy, but what I will tell you is he understands that we've got to get this economy turned around. He understands that we have to fight what's happening across the border. He understands that we have to be energy dominant. And he understands that we can't have any more wars. That's what we have to focus on. Why am I here? I'm here because I'm the wife of a combat veteran. I don't want him to get deployed again. I'm here because I'm a mom and I listen to my daughter who just got married complain about her grocery bill over and over again. I'm here because my son, who we just paid a lot of tuition when he graduated at Villanova, and I hear him right now worrying about not being able to pay rent. That's what this is about. It's not about us. It's about the next generation, and it's about the future of America. And let me tell you, we have a country to save. And the way we're going to save our country is in 6 days, you are going to elect the next new Republican senator from Pennsylvania. Give it up for Dave McCormick.
The White House. All right. And who is ready to retire Bob Casey and send Chuck Schumer packing? That's the step. That's what you got to do to save our country. Listen, I want to first of all thank Nikki Haley for being here. I want to thank my incredible, beautiful, amazing wife. Is she the most amazing woman you've ever met? I know some of you are just thinking about voting for me because I'm married to her. I'll take it. I'll take that vote. I also want to call out, there's so many friends here, so many people that have been supporters, but 3 people that are running for office right now, we need to give them our support. They're great patriots. Rob McCurry, I know where Rob is. Thank you, Rob. 17th Congressional District. Thank you for what you're doing. We need to win that. We need to win that to keep the House, or move the House to be Republican and get back on track. Jeremy Schaefer, is Jeremy in the House? Thank you, Jeremy. He's running a great campaign. And Valerie Gatos, is Valerie here? All right, thank you. Thank you to all 3 of them. You know, listen, this political stuff, you know, this is a contact sport. This is definitely a contact sport. And, you know, I ran last time, 2022, I lost by 900 votes of 1.5 million votes cast, right? That's a gut check. Do you really want to do this? We thought about it and we said, maybe not. You know, we'll go on with our lives here. We had 6 daughters. We asked them, what do you think? They said, we're not exactly for it. By that, they were 100% opposed to me running for office again. And, but we just kept getting pulled back to this moment. The moment we're in, the moment we're all in that's going to get resolved for better, I hope, or worse in 6 days is we are number 1, the most exceptional country in the world, right? By any measure, America has lifted people out of poverty. America's free enterprise creates the innovation that drives the world. Religious freedom, individual freedom, it's been a force for good. It's got dark chapters, to be sure, but a force for good in the world. So if you believe that, if you believe that you've been blessed by America, and I bet all of you believe you've been blessed to be in America and to be in America, and you believe America's in trouble, spiritually, economically, our adversaries around the world testing us, challenging us. If you believe those things and you think you can do something about it, you got to do it. That's why I'm in this election. That's why I'm running for the Senate. That's why we all got to do what we need to do for the next 6 days to save our country. It could not be more important. This is, my friends, this is the most important election of our lifetimes. And for most of us, you're my age, this isn't about you, because you got more years behind you than in front of you. This election is about our children. This is about our children's children. What kind of legacy are we going to pass on to them? Are we going to pass on a legacy of the America we know that we love? That's what this election's about, and that's why I'm so glad to see you all here. I'm so grateful for your support, and I just need you to get out the vote and make sure we got everybody beating the bushes to win this election on November 6th, November 5th, right? Thank you. And listen, we got a big choice. The choice is pretty clear. I can't believe a lot of people don't know the choice, but the choice is between strength. At the top of the ticket, that guy you saw was waving his fist saying, fight, 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 right? Against the weakness of Biden, Harris, and Casey. And I say Casey, 98.6% of the time, he's voted with Biden and Harris. Every doggone one of those terrible policies that's hurting our economy, wide open borders, crime, he's voted for them every single time. It's the choice between common sense policies. It's common sense that you can't spend so much that you drive up skyrocketing prices with inflation. Common sense. If you got the 4th largest natural gas reserves in the world, you got to unlock it and have energy dominance, which is going to be great for Pennsylvania jobs. Great. Great for our national security and great for our environment, because that clean natural gas is going to help the environment around the world. It's common sense. You got to have law and order in our cities, in our communities. You got to fund the police, stand behind the men and women in blue. That's common sense, right? And it's common sense. You got to secure a border. You can't have 11 million people coming across the border, convicted murderers, convicted rapists, 4,000 fentanyl deaths last year, right? That's common sense. You know, we are a nation of immigrants. My amazing wife is an immigrant from Egypt. We're also a nation of laws. We have to have a secure border and protect Americans from what's happening every day, which is going to threaten our security for years to come. But this Senate election is every bit as important. It's every bit as important because Pennsylvania has to have leadership in the Senate to get our great Commonwealth moving in the right direction. And this is a choice, right? Yeah, give a clap for that. We've got to have the right leadership for Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's future. We are the keystone state. What happens here will decide the presidency. It'll decide the majority in the Senate. And you have a choice. The choice is between change, which I will bring, or the status quo that represents Senator Bob Casey. You have a choice. A 30-year career politician. He was born with a political spoon in his mouth, right? Now, my mom's from Punxsutawney, so I can say I call him Punxsutawney Bob, right? Because he pops his head out of the hole 6 months every 6 years, then he goes back down. He waves his hands, makes it seem like he's done a lot, and then he goes back in his hole. He has voted for all these crazy liberal policies, sanctuary cities, no border wall. He's been endorsed by a anti-police, defund the police group in Philadelphia, Indivisible Philadelphia. He's voted for males being able to compete in women's sports, right? That's not Pennsylvania. And your choice is for a guy that's a 7th-generation Pennsylvanian, born in Washington County, right? My dad's from Indiana County. My mom's from Jefferson County. I grew up in Bloomsburg. I baled hay. I trimmed Christmas trees. I was a bus boy at the McGee Hotel. I had a paper route. I played football. I wrestled, and wrestling got me to West Point. And West Point changed my life, right? Rob McCurry's another West Pointer. He's a little younger than me. You probably couldn't tell. So I was the co-captain of the wrestling team there. I went to Ranger School, 82nd Airborne Division, combat tour in Iraq, and came back to Pittsburgh and helped run a company that created hundreds of jobs. I have lived the American dream. I know. My wife's lived the American dream. We know how lucky we are, and we want to make sure that American dream is available for every one of our kids. That opportunity is available for every one of our kids. The America I know is not the America I see right now. The America I know is the America that I saw as a platoon leader in the 82nd. In my platoon, I had a kid from rural Alabama, had an African-American young man from Newark. I had a platoon sergeant from Puerto Rico who was 35. Seemed ancient at the time. I was 22. I never remember talking about religion. Don't remember talking about race. Sure didn't talk about politics or gender. All we talked about was protecting and taking care of one another when we deployed, and the America we love, and our responsibility and our desire to defend it. That's the America I know. That's the America I will defend in the United States Senate. But, we're 6 days away, and we've got to win. The consequence of losing, or I can't even think about it. The consequences of losing the White House, losing the Senate majority. And so when I ran last time, I was a little shy. It was new to it, and I sort of shuffled my feet and I said, I hope you'll vote for me. I'm telling you here, I'm putting it all out there, right? Everything I got, everything Dina and I got, we're putting into this. We need you. We need you to think about this election like your life depends on it, because it does, right? We need you to get your friends out to vote if they're thinking about not voting. We need you to convince people, not just Republicans, independents, conservative Democrats. These problems aren't Republican problems: inflation, wide open border, a war on fossil fuels, adversaries around the world challenging us. No. Those problems affect every Pennsylvanian. We need leadership that's going to change the future of our country. We need you to help persuade them. We need you to put out signs. We need you to convince your friends. We need you to say prayers. This election is the most important election of your lifetime. And I want to thank you for everything you're doing. I want to ask you to do everything you can do. And I want to leave you with a thought. Here's how I'm thinking about it, and here's how I hope you'll think about it. In wrestling in college, I wasn't the best wrestler. I was a good wrestler. I wasn't the best. But I always knew if I could get into the third period within a point or two, I would win. And the reason I would win in the third period is the third period is not about wrestling. It's about mental toughness. It's about heart. It's about staying on offense every single second. It's about giving everything you've got and then more until the whistle blows. That's what I'm going to do for the next 6 days. That's what I need you to do for the next 6 days. We got to save our country. We got to save America. We got to make Pennsylvania great again. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. You're patriots. You're great Americans. Thank you.